longer or being in the care of their parents longer. So that's something that we're looking to look into later on. What we're finding also is that a lot of young people are reporting that they've become more creative in their thinking. They've got, they've developed new ways of being. They're picking up new skills and services. They're, going online and looking at, new skills that they could pick up, new interests, because there's nobody to talk to, and they are very apt and with their, technical devices. So they're going online and looking at, skills that they could pick up online. And what we're also noticing is that a lot of people are turning to faith. A lot more people are turning to their faith now, and wondering about, what it is that people say about God. And this is not just Christians, but, Muslims as well. And then there are other faiths that don't have God, that are wondering about, the existence of God and how God features in all of this. So these are the positives that we're noticing. In all of this, the most worrying about the impacts of lockdown is negative situations. And so because this is something new, and it's not something that's happened before, we're also having to, think outside of the box and find out, think about what it is that we can advise people to do to enable them within the lockdown, especially people who feel lonely, who feel, that it's, things are difficult to manage and all of that. So one of the things that we tell them is that, much as the system might say this is what you have to do, and you have to do so much, or you have to do so little, and you have to add this and add and take out that, we're actually saying to people, teachers and parents alike, that young people and parents too should be allowed to go at their own pace. Some people can actually toe the line and run the race in the ways in which, they're expected. But with some people, they just have to be unable to go at their own pace, because this whole experience that we're going through jointly does have an impact on mental health. We're also saying to people that you control what can be controlled, because a lot of people are worrying. There's so much anxiety out there about, the virus, I'm sure that everybody's heard of somebody or some people that have lost their lives to this. And so people are worrying, especially young people and children, about bringing the virus home and hurting their.
Can you unmute, please?
I'm sorry, when did you lose me?
Just after the anxiety.
Right, was that go at your own pace? Or
yeah, after go at your own pace.
Okay, so I was talking about controlling what can be controlled. Yeah. I was talking about how, a lot of young people and children worry about bringing the virus home, especially with, them being told on the news that they're the ones who carry the virus the most and spread the virus and are not really getting as unwell as adults are. And so a lot of them are worrying about hurting their families or hurting their own parents. And you find them, getting extremely desperate over what it is that they might be doing. And so, what we're saying to them is, rather than sit worrying that you might be bringing the virus home, think about what it is that you can do, to ensure that you aren't hurting people if you do bring it home. So, like the government says, wash your hands, wear your mask, keep your social distance. And if you do go out and have to come back home, have a wash, have a bath. We're finding that young people are using water a lot more these days. Those that didn't really like water too much are making friends with water and soap. And they're quite pleased to know that, they don't have to sanitize their bodies. They can actually just use soap and water. And so they're becoming quite friendly with their mother's washes and soaps and things like that.
Excellent.
So we're telling, in therapy, we're talking to young people about bringing things that are certain back into focus, things that you can change, things that are certain. We know that at some point in time, we can't see it, but we know that at some point in time, this thing will come to an end. The government is doing all that it can to bring it, to an end. The scientists are working on whatever it is that they can work on, and all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, if you do wash your hands and you do wear your mask and you do keep your social distance, the likelihood is that you will stay safe. So we are trying to, help young people to bring, and their parents alike, to bring things that are certain back into focus. For those of them that are, extremely worried about, being lonely and not having anything to do or being bored, a lot of young people complain about boredom. We are encouraging them and encouraging their parents to encourage them to learn a new skill. Parents themselves are learning new skills as well. And there are some skills that they're learning that they're bringing the children into as well. So we have some parents who have learned how to cook and have started to, bring their children into cooking as well. So rather than it just being one person preparing the meal, different people in the family might prepare different parts of the meal. We're encouraging people as well to take personal and alone time. And I know that this can be difficult, especially if your space is very small. But what we're suggesting is that, somewhere be carved out that people can use. And if you don't have enough space for each individual to have their personal time or their alone time, then, looking at different times in the day that one person can have. So one person might be in a space that you've carved out, maybe one corner of the living room, for half an hour or an hour. And then somebody else might take over that space, just so that everybody has a little bit of time to be in their own space, away from everybody else. We're also suggesting to people, if it's possible, to move furniture around if possible, so that you can create a little place that even you can go to, because it's really important that parents, have space away from the kids, where the kids know that, they're allowed to be in this part of the room for so long and they've got to play quietly whilst mum is, taking 10 minutes out to take a break or put her feet up or something like that. Yes, and like I've said, where possible, help children build a space. And it doesn't necessarily mean that every child has to have their own space if you don't have enough space. But it's like having one room and carving out a little corner that you can call a quiet space, or give it a name, that you can call something that somebody might occupy at a particular time of the day. And then, try to eat at least one meal together as a family. You don't have to eat all meals together if it's, if it aggravates relationships. But it is important that, that the family can come together as a unit where possible, and have at least one meal together, where you could probably sit, eat, and just talk about thoughts that you might have, explore what it is that the children are thinking about, share whatever it is as parents that you can with the children, and talk. Because what I've found is that in homes where you've got quite a few adolescents, they tend to go into their own spaces and leave everybody else in the rest of the house. But it's nice to know what's on your child's mind. And so sharing a meal together can help with that. And that's it, really.
Right. Have you got questions, or you're going to have to rush off?
Well, I haven't got a phone call yet. If I do get a phone call, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put my screen off and mute and dash.
That's fine. Can you take your thing off screen share, and then we'll see if anyone's got any questions. Take your presentation off. Thank you.
Right, okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Right, has anybody got any questions? If they would either raise their hand or just unmute. Anybody got any questions? Or are we still deep in thought about what's been shared? It was a lot. Excellent.
Oh, sorry, was it too much?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Is that Scar?
Yeah, I just want, it's not a question really. I just wanted to comment that it's nice to for a change here of the positives of COVID, because we're really hearing a lot of negativity that it can be overwhelming even for us who are not being challenged mentally. So it's nice to hear those positives, to say, yes, families are together and, you know, you're eating together and mom is not coming in when the children are sleeping. So that was good. Thank you for that, for sharing the positives as well.
Thank you for that comment.
Anybody else got any questions before? Okay, Yvonne, if you just unmute, please. Yvonne, if you unmute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I want to know what age group was Yemi talking about when she was sort of like talking about these things that the children can do?
I was talking about all age groups. I was talking about children, young people, and parents.
Okay. So the thing is, I've got a teenager and it's really difficult to do any of the things. It's like eating together. It's like, you, you know, sharing things. It's a no. It's just, it doesn't want to do any of the things, you know, not even to stay in, like, you know, you're supposed to stay in. So it's like, there is a lot of positive things that we can do, but I think that he's taken it as like he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that positive. He just want the old style where they can just go out when they want to. Because the staying in and doing the nice things with the family was always there, and he didn't want to do it then. You know, and he definitely don't want to do it now. So I'm just thinking maybe it's a different, smaller age group. But if you're saying it's around the spectrum, it's kind of challenging.
Yes, and I agree with you there. And you're not the only one who's going through that kind of difficulty. But I do, you know, in listening to what you've said, it makes me wonder about your young person's ability to work with you even before the lockdown. So has the difficulty only just emerged, or were they like this anyway?
Yeah, he was very much, he's got an older head, if you know what I mean. He's a little bit more mature than his peers. So he's always wanted to do more than what he's able to, if you know what I mean. And now that he is 18, you could imagine he thinks he's 30. Do you understand? So he's always had that, mature attitude, and it was just being a lot of challenge with him.
He sounds very adolescent.
Yeah.
So developmentally, I would say that, you know, he's somewhere within the adolescent spectrum. So he is presenting as being very adolescent. So it's normal behavior. However, I can see how it would be difficult in this lockdown period if he's going out, because, you know, much as his behavior is normal, it's not, well, it's not the kind of expected behavior within, you know, the environment that we're in at this moment in time, which is the pandemic. And so because of the pandemic and the lockdown, you know, he's putting himself at risk and yourself at risk as well. And that's where the understanding is not coming in. And so there seems to be something going on that's stopping him from hearing you, or you imparting the information in the way which he can actually understand you.
I think it's something we're going to work on, isn't it, Yvonne? And Yemi, I think we're going to have more time to deal with this. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But, any other questions from anyone? If they would just unmute and just give their question before Yemi has to zoom off. I think, okay, Marcus has got a question. Marcus, if you answer your question.
Yeah, first of all, Yemi, I want to say thank you very much. It was a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, is it possible, or is there a way that the presentation you just did, is that something that's available, or is it something that you can do for other platforms? Like, for example, if I was to speak to a group of young people and young parents, is that something you can either jump on with, or is that something that we can actually get a recording from this or from any other presentations you've done similar to this? Because this is actually very powerful in what I'm doing.
Well, if you talk to Margaret and Margaret gets through to me, then we can talk about that and think about that together. I just, you know, quickly pulled this together for Margaret this evening. So, but I don't see why not.
Okay, fantastic. I'll do that.
And Marcus is going to share shortly, so perhaps you'll hear some of what he's doing at Yemi, and we'll link up at some stage.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Yemi. If there's
Is it a wrong time to plug the group?
Yeah, just a little bit, because some of the women that are on here, they know about the group.
Okay, so can I just leave that to you, that this is the Yemi that you're talking about, but I'm going to have to dash.
Yeah, that's fine. All right then.
All right. See you, everybody. Okay. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Yemi. Much appreciated.
Okay, good. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's go back to Ska first, because Ska was sharing a powerful testimony as a mother who has a child that has a mental health issues. But thing is with Ska, he hasn't given up. And he knows that one day this situation is going to turn around. So just tell us a bit more about that, Scott, what your feelings about for when this one day is going to happen. If you just unmute. Yeah.
Yes, I wish I could say it's going to happen on such a day, but I know it's going to happen because I have prayed, and my God says if I pray according to his will, he hears me, and because he hears me, he will answer. So I have faith that he will be healed. But as to when, I don't know. And I've also had word and that he will be healed. And but I really, I wish I knew when, but it's just that such a journey that when he first fell ill, if someone had said to me it's going to be 10 years, I think I would have just dropped dead on the spot, but it has been 10 years. And with each day, I'm not saying every day I wake up, I'm full of faith saying, yeah, he's going to be healed. No, sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes I'm like, God, how long I've had enough? And I cry, and then I pick myself up again, and I keep going. And in believing without a doubt that one day I will have my full son, and he will be of sound mind, and he will behave like a normal 31-year-old. I mean, sometimes I have snippets of it. Like recently, I was like, Mom, I need to get out of here. I'm 31. I would like to get married and have children. I was like, oh, where did that come from? But that's just a step towards what I'm waiting for.
And Scott, just tell the participants, he wasn't always like this. For the first X amount of years, he was fine.
He was very fine. He was going places. He was a very outgoing child and into acting, and he did a few adverts, and he was in Little Britain. And then he just started around, I think it was about really 1920. But 21, that's when he started getting really, I think, but no, on his 21st birthday, he was already ill because there was not a single friend around. But I hadn't yet accepted that he was ill. I just saw the first signs as just loss of hygiene, and then he became rude, and then he had no perception of time when he was playing his music loud and everything else. And then people who knew us started saying to me, Ska, have you tried mental health? Which really annoyed me at the time, because I just thought, how dare you? This is my child, how dare you say mental health? Until it became evident that it was mental health.
I think we're going to explore that a lot more in the groups, because I think you can really help some parents identify some of the signs and maybe see if they can get help a bit quicker. But it's getting the right help, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that in the groups. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Marcus from Guardian Angels. He's going to share for a bit before we go into the groups. Thank you, Scar, but share a lot more in the groups. So Marcus, if you can unmute, please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marcus. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm the chapter leader, London chapter leader of the Guardian Angels UK. We've been established since 1979, but we came to the UK in 1989 during a time where England was actually going through a lot of challenges with young people, youth crime, and things on the streets. And I've been a Guardian Angel for 22 years. I mean, this is not what I do as a profession. This is what I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for this. As for myself, I've got my own profession aside, but I deal with young people quite a lot, and more so with homeless people, runaway